All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Networking Beat. And if you are a business networker, I have something I think you're going to want to listen to. Now, as creator and publisher of Networking Beat, I consider this a really good news story, especially for our new normal reality of business. But on the other hand, it's also classic information because in 1994, that's when Jeff Bezos made the move to Amazon and self-employment, left his job and started selling books online. Now, since then, as we all can see, this has evolved into one man, and his vision has now evolved into a new normal reality of centralized distribution. And that's going to be a key point of this talk, because this has really affected all of us and how we human beings do business. What that did, as you can see, he kind of took it the playing field of business in America, and he tilted it into his system in a way that really poured massive amounts of money into him in a disproportionate manner, so that he made so much money that he's really almost taken over so much of the business platform in America through centralized distribution. So having networked and direct response and actually book distribution, Lisa, channels for years, I've been tracking the growth of Amazon ever since its beginning when he launched it. Now, I'm known by many people as the network king and the founder of Cross Group Networking, but many don't realize that I've really been helping sell hundreds of millions of dollars of products and services since 1988. Now, one of my products alone probably took $200 million away from companies like Procter and Gamble, who had not yet at that time recognized the power of direct response marketing. Today, virtually all large brands really employ direct marketing because it's such an efficient distribution channels for products and services, books, etc. The move, though, to centralize distribution channels has bankrupted millions of small businesses who can no longer compete with the super big boys like Amazon. Well, it wasn't long after that Mark Zuckerberg created the algorithm for Facebook in his dorm room at Harvard. And he also began centralizing information distribution through Facebook. Now, again, the centralization tilted the American business system into the favor of Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook. And one man, again, his vision and that algorithm really began to shift billions and billions of dollars into essentially a one man's idea into a centralized distribution channel called Facebook. Now, I believe that simplification is a gain. So if you use the KISS acronym, keep it simply straightforward, and look at the brands of Amazon and Facebook as gigantic farms, places, especially Facebook. And this giant farm of information has really turned the rest of us into sharecroppers on Facebook. We do all the work of creating content, but they own the farm and they own even our content on Facebook. Again, this is because of centralized distribution. Well, as of today, no one truly has been able to break from the massive bonds and the gravity of centralized distribution of Facebook and the algorithm, which has really snatched up the independence of our voices. And many of them end up on Facebook and in that giant collective. Well, that massive centralization as a place to do business has made it very, very difficult, and today, if not nearly impossible, for the vast majority of our voices to stand out from all of the growing noise on Facebook. And much of it is negative. Now, in my humble opinion, Mark Zuckerberg may be good at creating algorithms, but I don't believe he is good at caring about what Facebook is doing for the rest of us in our democracy and our ability to succeed independently from Facebook and the gravity of centralization of information. So when Larry Page and Sergey Brin created the algorithm of Google, their motto at the time was "Don't do evil." Now, presumably, they recognized the disproportionate power that centralization creates. Unchecked, centralization has tremendous power to create massive problems for individual human beings. More and more people are getting lost in the algorithm shuffle to create things, and so are losing their way as people and their individuality rather than finding their humanity and their way forward in their lives. Now, that was before this current crisis of the pandemic, when we had to stop going out to stores and restaurants. And so naturally, people began shopping and doing business more and more from centralized sites online. But the question is there a way for individuals to escape the bonds of the growing gravity of centralized algorithm distribution of goods and information and services? And the answer is yes. And that opportunity has only recently arrived, and it's this. Independent voices of people no longer need to rely on centralized algorithms to stand out from the crowd. Individuals no longer need coded algorithms of Facebook, Google, and centralized distribution on Amazon to succeed. In fact, pushing back and going against that trend may be one of the only ways left for individual people to succeed without a big budget big enough to advertise on Facebook, Google, or YouTube advertising to get found, get heard, and get hired. So taking the free paths, which are less traveled, but can dramatically increase your chances of success and profitability. Because remember, it's not how much you sell, but how much profit you keep in your business that depends if you're making money or not. So if you're spending too much money on getting sales, who are you working for, them or yourself? Now, Jeff Bezos saw the future of buying goods and services online before everybody else in 1994. So he was able to centralize and distribute disproportionate wealth toward him. He tilted the American system in his favor, as I said. So spotting new trends like this is why we've created Networking Beat. And when I saw what I believe is the next multiple $100 million industry would be online virtual business networking. So that's why I bought that URL, which has now been Googled over 1 billion times. Now, before I began interviewing hundreds of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world, I missed spotting many trends that now seem obvious to me, but were not at that time. So like me, if you missed the 1994 opportunity to invest in Amazon, Apple, Google, or Facebook, I want to present something that we've been doing here since the pandemic, actually before the pandemic. And I believe that over-centralization, centralization is okay, but over-centralization is now dragging down the finances of too many small businesses who need a stronger and more affordable voice to make their business profitable. So I want to help you create a big voice for your small business, whether you're an entrepreneur, a sales professional, speaker, author, expert, a restaurant, or retail store. Networking Beat is looking to create a powerful new collaborative system for our online newsfeed that we want to call Networking Beat Voices, and that these can now jointly promote through cross-group networking platforms, bringing multiple independent and free platforms together. Because over-centralization is the problem, but we have solutions with independent online virtual business networking platforms that are now widely available and can be used by independent voices all working together around the world. And we don't now need to know how to code or create algorithms. So in order to create my first $200 million success from failure story, I had to go against the stream. By taking the path that was less traveled, I was able to transform a self-described miserable failure into a massive success. Now, Networking Beat is launching our 200 New Networking Millionaires Summit to create hundreds of collaborations to create a decentralized network of independent voices. And the best of all, we have the ways and means to accomplish this, and they are all free or very low-cost online networking platforms. We already have everything we need except you and the voices of the next thought leaders of the new normal reality of business on our new decentral network for networking. We are ready to put the voices of new leadership in place, and I want to share with you a link to click on that will make things more clear about this new opportunity. We'll share the specifics of deals on an ongoing basis on our Networking Beat, and we want to share your voice on Networking Beat as well. So we are cross-connecting multiple free platforms, group by group, with Networking Beat voices, and we hope these are your voice. So this is our thesis that I wanted to share with you today, along with many new strategies on Networking Beat that we're prepared to deliver to grow with your help and your voice. But there are a lot of opportunities that I believe Networking Beat voices. So if you missed out on opportunities like 1994 and Amazon, what if you were out front of Amazon and got on board? What if you were out front of Facebook, Google, or Apple? Well, Networking Beat is here to keep you up to date and even collaborate with you. So we have a questionnaire that if you fill in, then we'll know more about you, your voice, what you want to communicate, like you did with your book, Lisa. And we want to help you to tap into the next big e-commerce strategy for independent voices in the new normal reality of business. That's the overview that I'm presenting today, and I'm happy to answer any questions and see if you understand this and if it resonates with you.